interesting role, you and I had this really crazy idea.
We're like, this is, it was amazing.
It was amazing. We're like, you know, this is cute or whatever. But what if we did something more? What if we tapped into this white guilt momentum that existed on campus at the time and did like an activism 101? Because you and I both have like the shared common experience of like our radicalization pretty much like began and kind of solidified spring 2019, which is our spring freshman year.
Yes, it was.
And we recognized that any freshman class coming after us basically was not going to have that for at least the next like 2-3 years.
Yeah, which is still happening now.
So we were like, well, what if we just like,
what if we radicalize them?
Yeah.
What if we made things for them?
Yeah. And what if we basically did this crash course essentially?
Yeah. And so that was the original idea.
And
then we were just like, we're gonna dream up. We're gonna dream up the biggest thing we can, and then we're gonna try to like see what we can actually do. And then because we are fucking very competent, overachieving people, we basically ended up doing the biggest version of what we wanted to do.
Fully did. Did it well. Let the record show. Did it well.
It kind of like changed the game for like organizing at Davidson a little bit, because like essentially it was a 5-week political education series where we brought in alumni to do panels and workshops, where we brought in like 5 people from Charlotte to do like 3 different events. We even had, and this was also, we started this on October 12th.
Well, we started planning this like mid-September.
Yes, we started planning this mid-September. Because, I remember, we were like, okay, we just gotta get through September. We gotta give ourselves a couple of weeks to like settle in, and then we can start organizing.
Oh, so dope.
And so, so we started organizing mid-September. We only gave ourselves like 3 weeks to put everything together.
Yeah. And
then really it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, because then we were meeting with, we like ran it by some professors that we trusted. Shout out Dr. Bowles, Dr. Martinez, Dr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, the 3 of them.
Yeah, and like they gave us some input, some feedback. And this is so like we're doing this DCF full. I'm doing 4 classes. You were doing 3.
I was doing 3 classes.
Yeah.
I also was lying on a couch for the first week.
Right, because your arms.
Because my back wasn't working.
Oh, your back.
Yeah, I had a spasm. So
that's right. Okay,
I was on my back for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then my shoulder started hurting.
Yeah, and then I'm working with the Davidson Microaggressions Project still. I'm on BSCE board. I'm starting Black Femmes with Cheetah Man. Also did that.
And I was on the PASA board. I was still working for Melissa.
Yep.
I didn't finish my Smithsonian internship until the end of August, so the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
And I was doing AI.
We probably had like 20 commitments between the 2 of us.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember writing out our commitment list.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I should remember, like, okay, in the thick of Imagining Davidson, we were pulling 80 to 90 hour weeks.
Oh, right. You calculated.
I calculated this. We were pulling 80 to 90 hours weeks between classes, homework, other extracurricular commitments, DCF, Imagining Davidson, like we're having planning meetings, like we're meeting with other organizations to get funding and everything. We were literally putting in 80 to 90 hours weeks from like basically October 1st through like Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That was our reality.
That was, yeah.
And I'm still living at home. I'm doing everything virtual.
Oh my god.
I'm not here. I'm not here.
To be fair, I think I was also doing everything. Everything was virtual all the time.
Yeah, but
I was in Cornelius and you were in Florida.
And I was in Florida, but like also like living at home.
Yeah,
like,
you were living at home. I was not living at home.
Yeah.
I made that decision.
Yeah, good for you. That is all to say that.
I don't know how we did it.
I don't know. How are we alive?
I don't know how we're alive, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Is kind of this question of like, how did we make it through, and what was the fallout of Imagining Davidson? The 2 of us dreamed this up.
Yes.
We were like, this is an incredible idea, and we just started going full speed ahead.
We were fully prepared to do this only by ourselves.
And then I got yelled at by Raven and Margot, 2 dear friends. And Bree also yelled at us. Yeah. And then Dr. Bowles, I think, was also
yelled at us.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So a lot of people in our life were like lovingly being like, you need to stop. And so we were like, okay, let's get one more person involved. Because I think at that point it was also really difficult because everything was so virtual.
Yeah.
We didn't know any underclassmen because of COVID, because it's completely split up community building on campus. So we were like, okay, we'll get Phoebe involved. And she was helpful.
Definitely.
But 3 people was still not enough.
No.
So then we were like, okay, we're going to try to get 2 more people involved just to do graphics for us. Because I did all of the graphics for DCF over the summer.
Yeah.
And loved doing graphics and was fully prepared to keep doing that. And we were like, no, we have to delegate.
So yeah, shout out to Julia Lau and
Morgan
Martin for helping us with graphics on that.
And then Deshane and Adriel got involved, but that wasn't until, like, I would say, mid-October.
Yeah.
So for the first month,
it
was just us and Phoebe. And really it was just us. And then Phoebe was like, we were like the masterminds behind everything.
Fully.
And then Phoebe was also very, very helpful. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely getting helped.
It was amazing.
But I don't think we would have crashed and burned way worse if we didn't get it.
I agree. I don't think that we would.
I mean, also, like, you can't deny how much, like, personal investment also plays into this as well.
You're so right.
Because, like, we were really committed to, like freshmen, sophomores. We don't know you, but we really want to get to know you. And, like, we were specifically going after, like, BIPOC students on campus.
Absolutely.
Like, we were like, this is for y'all. Like, you know, we made, like, videos introducing ourselves and, like, our journey. We had, like, created a whole Instagram account, very elaborate production. But, you know, and then, so, like, I'm really invested in this because, like, I had, you know, the same way that, like, you and I had, like, upperclassmen investing in us. I think we really wanted to be that for you know, virtually as much as we could.
Because intergenerational organizing is a huge part of how we got
Exactly. Yeah. And, like, you know, and, like, also gets to tell, like, DCF, like, talking with Tiz and Sharon, who've been in the game for decades. You know, like, it's all intergenerational, and we recognize that. And I think we were definitely disappointed a bit because it didn't quite work out that way.
I think a huge motivator was also, we were like, we're gonna graduate in 2 years. And we know that turnover is a huge part of student organizing.
Absolutely.
And so, like, especially, I think I was, like, really, like, I want people to join AI. I want people to join DCF. And we were very focused because there's this idea that a lot of people come into Davidson, that we were seeing with a lot of sophomores, where they, like, came into this class, to the school year of 2020, 2021, and we're like, no one has ever done this before. No one has ever done radical organizing on this campus before.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna form my own organization. We saw like 3 or 4 different things happen, and we were so fucking annoyed, really, with this ahistorical narrative. That this like amnesia about organizing on this campus, and we were like, we need to make sure that people know what has happened before them, before they like get involved in things. And I think that's a huge part of student organizing, especially, like, it's a huge part of organizing anywhere, but especially on college campuses, because the administration likes to force this, like, like, student organizing doesn't exist here. And, like, it, like, they're basically very invested in this, like, I don't know, politic of forgetting.
100%. And because, like, even, like, I mean, you knew that with, like, Burn the Frats, and then...
Especially with AI, because there had been people doing that organizing for years before us.
And then even with Black Femmes, like, there were multiple inceptions of, like, this concept of, like, a space for Black Femmes on campus that came before us, but literally no record can be found of it until you talk to, like, alumni or something like that.
It's only through, like, talking to people.
Exactly. And so, like, so there's definitely, like, this, you know, definitely, like, trying to, like, go against this politic of forgetting, and so that's where the alumni panel came in, and, getting HD to do Disorienting Davidson.
Shout out to HD
Bellin, that was great. My first week of programming was...
That was, like, so good.
That was nice.
We had HD doing Disorienting Davidson. They did 2 different versions of it over the course of one day. Then we had...
The alumni
panel that we got to moderate.
That was great.
It was amazing.
Shout out to Ty, Tien, Morgan, Isabel, and Jennifer for participating in that.
That was truly, like, soul warming. I think you're so completely right. Personal investment was a huge part of it. And it was a way to build community.
And it really set the tone for the rest of the, like, I think if we hadn't had that successful of a week, because we had numbers that week. And then
we had big numbers that week.
Like, you know, I don't think we would have like went through with it. Well, maybe we would have. I don't know, but I definitely think
but not
like
with the same amount of energy.
Right, exactly.
That's what really
It really like helped fuel us. And then after that, and then it was an election year.
Right, so that's the other thing that I wanted to mention is that we did all of this in the fall of 2020. You'll remember, the fall of 2020 was also the election, a COVID election. Oh my god, wow. So we were already bracing. We literally planned in, not actually break for ourselves, but we were like, you know, we know that we're going to be doing this through election week. And so to actually like be there for anyone. We were also very invested in community building. So we were like, we're gonna get an on-campus counselor who's Black and queer and femme, Jasmine Peters, amazing. Wow. And she facilitated a session, like group therapy session for BIPOC.
That was great. I love that.
That was also great. Yeah, we had a good number of people.
All of our programming, amazing, phenomenal.
We did an amazing job.
Amazing. Riri came back to Beyond the Ballot. Love that.
Yeah, that was
Ash
really
and Henry did.
They just kind of did a like transformative justice 101. Glow and Kayala
and Marcel
talked about like
care and mutual
aid.
And then Dr. Bowles led our final workshop tap the fuck in on how to like, you know, action plan your next steps, like for getting involved. It was honestly great programming and like
it was amazing programming.
But again, we're doing 80 to 90 hours a week, and so the burnout was felt by the time we hit November.
Right, because Thanksgiving break, essentially the way that things worked that fall is that we kept going until Thanksgiving break. Then it was just finals.
And I had nothing for finals. I had nothing. I had to get like 2
I stopped doing schoolwork that fall.
Oh, fully. I stopped doing schoolwork like mid-November. I went ghost, as my Gemini ass likes to do.
Yeah.
I disappeared. Disappeared. And came back. I think I did 2 out of 4 of my finals, and I got an incomplete for the other 2. And then I still ended up having to retake a class.
Yeah, the only reason that I actually was able to make it to the end is because I had classes I had the Black Queer South with Dr. Mahoney, where my final paper was a manifesto on burnout. That was the beginning of this project. And then I took a class with I took a Asian American history class, and then I took a class with, I don't remember my last class. Oh well. But it was Dr. Wahid. So it was like I had professors who were really deeply caring and committed to what I was doing through GSS. And so that was, I think, why they were like letting me get to the end. But I wasn't able to do my finals. My shoulder gave out. Yeah. And so I couldn't physically type anything.
Yeah.
And so
your burnout manifested a lot physically.
Yeah, my burnout really manifested physically.
Yeah, whereas mine has been just the mental deterioration that has led to me now being in therapy after much bullying from this one.
Bullied for a year.
But yeah, that December is when I got my formal depression and anxiety diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because I had to,
Yeah. And that was the first time when I was like, maybe I'm disabled. Maybe me not being able to use my shoulder for a week and not being able to type, and having Isabel type out my finals for me, sitting next to me, writing a whole paper on burnout. Yeah. Well, I dictated to them my experiences.
As you fully experienced it.
As I fully experienced it. Maybe I was like, oh fuck, maybe I'm disabled actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not just burnout. And so we had a 2-month winter break.
Yeah.
That, I think, is what saved us a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because DCF is still organizing at this point, but we took a break around the holidays.
Yeah, we took a holiday break for 2 weeks?
I think we did 2 weeks.
Because the thing about DCF is that since that first restructuring, we have been very intentional about giving ourselves breaks.
Definitely. 100%.
Like, I think DCF is one of the most successful models for sustainable organizing that I've been a part of.
Oh, 100%. Because then also, sadly, you bond through trauma. And so the trauma of the summer, brought the original 8 members of our group together a lot closer, that we also felt comfortable checking each other when we knew someone was crossing boundaries. That's when that's when banning started, you know?
Banning, yeah.
Basically, just stay in your lane type.
If you're doing too much, you have to stop. You're banned from this activity for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think both of us have definitely been banned.
Oh, 100%. Fully.
That was also that winter break was when we were like, we need to onboard people for everything.
Yes, definitely. So,
and I will say, yeah, Imagine Davidson wasn't what we wanted in that it was a mass radicalization, but it was still really successful.
Definitely.
And it still showed a lot of professors and a lot of people on this campus how to like get things out of Davidson. Because
I don't look back at Imagine Davidson with any like I think we did amazing. Like the only regret is that like we're paying for it now, honestly. But other than that, like I'm really proud of the work we did. I think we definitely dreamed bigger than we could handle, and like even with like this past summer's like grant, like we still didn't really end up doing fully what we wanted. We wanted this to be a yearly thing. Yeah, we really wanted. It would be amazing if it was, but we have no capacity
that fall killed us. Fully. I have not been able to reach that capacity since Thanksgiving of 2020.
I probably never will, and it's honestly for the best.
That's true. We shouldn't reach that capacity.
We really shouldn't, because DCF had already put me at 0 by the beginning of September, and I was fully pulling from reserves from September through Thanksgiving break of 2020.
And I think this is, I think that's something that I just thought of, which is that like sometimes burnout is like actually what you need.
Oh, definitely.
Burnout is, like, I think that's something that I've always been really afraid of, is this concept of burnout, and everyone's like, don't burn out. Do whatever you can to not burn out. But we burned out. And we're still burnt out. I don't know if I'm ever going to be not burnt out while I'm at Davidson.
Yeah.
But, like, that was what I needed to be like, oh, fuck, I need to invest all of my radical mutual aid ideas into myself, my relationships, and my body.
100%. Like, sadly, that's sometimes the only way that we'll get the lesson is like you reap the full consequences, and like we definitely did then. And it's up to you whether you learn from it or not. And I think we've definitely done as much as we can to learn from that experience and to like not replicate the same,
self-induced,
fully self-sabotage, fully, but yeah, we're definitely still paying for it.
Yeah, but we're definitely still paying for it.
Yeah, but I guess if someone were to ask me would I do it all over again,
I think the answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes.
I don't think I wouldn't go back and stop it.
No.
I think it was an amazing thing and taught me a lot about. We wouldn't go back and stop us from doing anything, and that our being burnt out has been really, really helpful for reimagining like this radical, really just radical kinship and radical community care,
Yeah. Like we fully became
best
friends through our burnout. Through organizing
and through a burnout.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take that back at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because we're in community and that's been really amazing. So yeah.